than other strains of the virus. But Dr. Anthony Fauci is saying there are signs it may be less severe for those infected. The fast-spreading variant prompting a new air travel restriction.
President Biden laid out his plan to fight coronavirus this winter, and one major component was toughening testing requirements for travelers. The change is now in effect. Everyone arriving in the U.S. from abroad, including American citizens, will now have to show proof of a negative coronavirus test within 24 hours of travel, regardless of vaccination status. Previously, you had a 3-day window for showing that negative test. Travelers who are unvaccinated are still barred from entering the country with few exceptions. Lionel Moyes, ABC News.
A manhunt over the weekend tracking down the parents of the Michigan school shooting suspect. They're now in the same jail as their son and face involuntary manslaughter charges in the death of 4 of their son's classmates. ABC's Trevor Ault is in Michigan.
Their attorney has flatly denied any culpability. They say that basically what we've heard so far from authorities and the prosecution are cherry-picked facts, and they're confident that the truth is going to come out. They pleaded not guilty on all of these charges. They insist that the gun was locked up in their cabinet.
Former Kansas Senator, presidential candidate, and World War II veteran Bob Dole died over the weekend. ABC's Christine Sloan with his impact in Washington during his decades of service.
It was in the Senate where he made his mark and took pride in his bipartisan accomplishments, shoring up Social Security and passing the Americans with Disabilities Act. In 1976, he was tapped as Gerald Ford's running mate, and he ran for president 3 times, losing to Bill Clinton in 1996.
Bob Dole was 98. You're listening to ABC News.
Do you want to be a hero for the holidays? How about getting your loved one a new iPhone? That's right. Pure Talk has iPhone 12 starting at just $479 through the end of the year. And sure, they have 13s too. Switch to Pure Talk. Great nationwide 5G coverage. Yes, the same coverage as the big guys, but the average family saves over $800 a year. Now that's just smart. There's no need to overpay for Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile. Plus, with Pure Talk's 30-day risk-free guarantee, you've got nothing to lose. Unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data is just $30 a month. And like I said, the iPhone 12, just $479. From your cell phone, dial pound 250 and say Jill 50, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Plus, save on a new phone. That's pound 250, say Jill 50. Pure Talk is simply smarter wireless. Some restrictions apply. See site for details.
President Biden is slated to have a virtual conversation with Russian President Vladimir Putin tomorrow, and the main topic likely to be the recent mobilization of Russian troops along the border it shares with Ukraine.
Europe's on edge. U.S. and Ukrainian officials claiming that Russia's massed as many as 100,000 combat troops on its eastern border. The question is whether this is just a tough negotiating tactic or whether the Kremlin's plotting an invasion like it did in 2014.
ABC's Ian Pannell, the U.S. has said that Russia could face economic sanctions if it escalates its troop presence. Myanmar's former pro-democracy leader facing jail time.
A legal official saying a Myanmar special court has sentenced the country's ousted leader to 4 years in prison after finding her guilty of incitement and violating COVID restrictions. The 76-year-old Nobel Prize winner was removed from power after the army took over in February, preventing her National League for Democracy party from starting a second 5-year term in office. The verdict in another case against her is expected next week. Inez de la Cuetara, ABC News. At the Foreign Desk.
At least 14 people have died after a volcano on Indonesia's most densely populated island erupted over the weekend. The eruption of Mount Semeru sent thick clouds of smoke and ash at least 40,000 feet into the sky. Several villages blanketed by the volcanic ash. More than 25 people said to be missing. This is ABC News.
500,000 businesses connect using Zoom, a single platform for video, phone, chat, and conference rooms. Zoom enables real-time collaboration no matter where your teams are. Global enterprises trust the easy-to-use, reliable, and secure Zoom platform to power high-performance teams. Empower your workforce with Zoom. Save 15% on meetings, chat, and phone with a Zoom United bundle. Visit zoom.com/bundle. Zoom, how the world connects.
Dave Packer, ABC News.
The reasons more and more people are coming to NC Tractor to do business are the selection of Massey Ferguson tractors, Bobcat zero-turn mowers, fantastic customer service, and the special Phil Sheehan seasonal discounts. NC Tractor on Railroad Avenue in Rutherford is making dreams come true for folks who want the wrist.
We're tracking a cold front that's going to move through later this evening and bring a very small chance of rain. The big story for today will be the warm-up with highs heading into the upper 60s and mid-70s. It's going to be a little bit breezy as those winds move in out of the south and west, but overall a really nice and warm day. Tomorrow will be cooler with highs in the lower 50s. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Well, it sure doesn't feel like fall of the year. It feels more like springtime or early summer, but it's 50 degrees right now. We're warming up to 67 around here with the possibility of some late afternoon scattered showers. About a 40% chance of that happening, and scattered showers again in the forecast for Tuesday night and Wednesday night, and maybe Saturday night, about a 30% chance on Saturday and 50% on Saturday night. But the weather's going to stay really nice. Cool, a little cool at night, but daytimes are pretty pleasant. Just keep your umbrella close by just in case it rains. It is 50 degrees right now. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the second hour of 3 of the morning wake-up call. I have these death announcements. Mary Ruth Bennett, age 81, of Forest City, died Friday, December 3rd at Mission Health in Asheville. Funeral services will be held at 11 o'clock today at Pleasant Grove United Methodist Church, with Reverends Keys Pendleton and Reverend Dr. Bobby Gant officiating. Burial will follow in the church cemetery. Family will receive friends from 6 until 8. They received friends last night at the Paget and King. The Paget and King Mortuary and Crematory in charge of the arrangements. For Mary Ruth Bennett. A celebration of James Mark Brown's life will be held at a later date. He died Sunday, November the 28th. And Crow's Mortuary is serving the family, and those services are pending for James Mark Brown. Barbara Ann Dagahart Espinozo, age 81 of Forest City, died Wednesday at Rutherford Regional Medical Center. She is survived by son Larry Umpris, and those services are also pending, and Crow's Mortuary will announce those services whenever they are decided for Barbara Ann Dagahart Espinozo. Peggy Burns, 84 of Ellenboro, died Thursday at Fairhaven Home, Forest City. The funeral will be conducted at 11 o'clock Tuesday, December 7th at Washburn and Dorsey Funeral Home. Burial will follow in the Concord Baptist Church Cemetery. Visitation will be from 5 until 7 p.m. this evening at Washburn and Dorsey Funeral Home. Peggy Burns of Ellenboro. James Dale Pettit, 75 of Forest City, died Saturday, December 4th. A graveside service will be conducted at 3 o'clock Tuesday, December 7th at Eternal Hills Memorial Park. Military rites will be rendered by the Rutherford County Honor Guard. The body will lie in state at Washburn and Dorsey Funeral Home from 9 until 7 today for James Dale Pettit. Janet Bostick Kesterson, 89 of Rutherfordton, died Friday, December 3rd at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. The funeral service will be held 2 p.m. Tuesday, December 7th in the Paget at King Chapel. Burial will follow in the Concord Baptist Church Cemetery. The family will greet friends as they exit from the service on Tuesday. The Paget and King Mortuary and Crematory serving the family of Janet Bostick Kesterson. Jolyn Rose St. John Urban, 83 of Ellenboro, died Monday, November 29th at Atrium, Cleveland. December the 7th, there will be a visitation from 4 until 7 p.m. at Miller Funeral Home in West Dundee, Illinois. Funeral service will be 11 a.m. Monday, December 13th at Immaculate Conception Catholic Church, and Crow's Mortuary is assisting the Urban family. Jolene Rose St. John Urban. Those are the death announcements we have in-house this morning. For the complete information on these and others as they become available to us, be sure to tune in at 11:35 this morning for the complete information, and again at 5:10 this afternoon as part of the afternoon report, the complete information for these and others as they become available to us. Stand by now for the Bill O'Reilly morning update, and then we'll get into the phone calls here in just a few moments, find out what's been going on around the county over the weekend. Right now, here is Bill O'Reilly.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up from the NRIA.net studios in New York. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. Attention investors, want predictable monthly cash flow? How about double-digit annualized targeted returns with the benefits of real estate without being a landlord? Peace of mind comes from investing with a 15-year industry leader. Savvy investors are learning about the NRIA Real Estate Development Fund, and you should too. So please call 800-800-1414. That's easy, 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at NRIA.net.
On this Monday, a new Trafalgar poll out last week has President Biden's job approval rating at a stunning 36%. Bad Bunny could probably do better than that. You may remember when Richard Nixon was forced to resign because of Watergate, his approval rating was about 34%. So what is really going on here? It can all be explained with one simple question. Since he has been president, what has Joe Biden done to improve the country? Give me one thing. I'm a simple man. What has he done? More people died this year from COVID than in Trump's last year. So Biden can't be doing much good on that front. Inflation, you know about it. Open border, you know about it. Rising violent crime, killing thousands. What exactly has Joe Biden done to improve the nation? When you boil it down to that simple question, and the answer comes up, nothing, you're going to have a job approval rating at 36%. And the 36 who like Joe Biden, they are zombies. They are hardcore Democrats who will never abandon their party. So going into 2022, we're less than a month away, I don't know. I see more and more trouble on the horizon. Now this. If you are stuck in a timeshare, please call my friends at Lone Star Transfer. They guarantee to get you out with a specified time frame given to you in writing. They have helped thousands of unhappy timeshare owners over the past decade. Family owned, their process is done legally, ethically, and quickly. So please call for a no obligation consultation. 855-551-7066 or visit LoneStarTransfer.com. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
Good morning. Good morning.
100.9 FM. Walking down memory lane with classic oldies.
Have you noticed lately how empty everything is? Empty streets, empty stores, empty schools. But I'm trying to change these empty times by being full of gratitude. Gratitude means saying thanks to the garbage collector, the medical providers, and all those who are helping every day. Things may appear empty around us, but when we're filled with gratitude, nothing is completely empty inside us. Gratitude is in you. From PassItOn.com.
The coming of the railroad was considered one of the greatest things to happen in the Old West. It made possible the transportation of goods and people from the industrialized East to the frontier West. The train was also able to cut travel time down considerably. But there was one occasion on December 2, 1880, that a lowly ox cart beat a train in a race that quite possibly only the ox cart occupants were aware. Just as the eastbound fast mail train was steaming out of town, a hack containing 3 gentlemen drove up to the depot, only to be told the train they wanted had just rounded the bend. The hack they had rented had left the station, and the only transportation was a wagon and 4 ox team. The men walked up to the owner of the rig. $5 if you take us up the rail 30 miles, said one man. Another $5 if you get us there before 8 o'clock, said the second. $5 more if you get us there ahead of the train, said the third. The driver looked at the team, thought about the $15 to be made in 2.5 hours, and said, "I'm your man." The wagon road lay alongside the tracks. The first few miles was slow, but soon the oxen warmed up. In an hour, they had caught up with the train. In the darkness of the evening, they could see the train's red light and fire from the smokestack in the distance behind them. The men arrived at their destination safely. After they had domiciled at the hotel, one of the men said, "Boys, we have beaten the train by 20 minutes. Let's go to the depot and see it creep in." You've just heard another story from Old West Radio. I'm Dakota Livesay.
Jesse James has added 2 new sandwiches to his already delightful menu. Along with the fresh-cooked burgers, sandwiches, fresh salads, hot dogs made to order, now try the all-new crispy chicken sandwich with lettuce, tomato, and mayonnaise, or the crispy deluxe with lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, bacon, and cheese. Both come with sides. Enjoy a refreshing milkshake or a hand-dipped ice cream cone. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 to 4, closed Wednesday and Sunday. Jesse James Railroad Express, 531 Railroad Avenue in Rutherford, or call 828-447-4644. And Mondays only, hot dogs with mustard, chili, and onions, only $1.24 each. All aboard the Jesse James Railroad Express.
We're ready now to talk with Officer King at the Sheriff's Department, find out what's been going on over the weekend. Our friend Officer King, good morning. How you doing today?
Good morning. I'm doing good. How are you? Doing good, Jim. How are you?
Doing great. Hope you had a good weekend.
Yes, sir. It's pretty good.
Good.
We had the weekend off.
You did? Well, that's great. That's great. Don't have many of those, though, do you?
Every other one.
Yeah.
So.
Not too bad. Tell us what's been going on this weekend.
In the past 48 hours, Sheriff's Department responded to 270 calls for service. There were 14 arrests processed in the jail, and jail currently has 179 people incarcerated. On our incident reports, Angela Royal from Mackey Freeman Road in Rutherford reported a communicating threats. Jeff Walker from Terry Road in Ellenboro reported larceny of motor vehicle parts as larceny of a catalytic converter. Michael Duncan from Paris Drive in Forest City reported a misdemeanor larceny. Amanda Ledbetter from Highway 64 in Rutherford reported assault by strangulation. Charles James from Ellenboro Henrietta Road in Ellenboro reported breaking and entering a motor vehicle and larceny after breaking and entering. The Hickory Nut Antiques on Main Street in Chimney Rock reported a felony larceny. That's all I have on the incident reports. On our arrest reports, an Abelia Reyes Marino from Oakland Road in Spindale was served with a warrant for communicating threats, received an unsecured bond. Ernest Sims from Gilmer Edwards Road in Rutherford was arrested and charged with possession of methamphetamine, simple possession of a Schedule 6 controlled substance, and resist, obstruct, or delay a public officer. Received a $10,000 secured bond. Devin Young from Highway 64 in Rutherford was arrested and charged with assault on a female. Received a domestic violence hold. Eric Gray from Oak Street in Forest City was served with 1 count of failure to appear on felony and 2 child support warrants. No bond listed on that. Ronald Davis from Tisdale Street in Ellenboro was arrested and charged with misdemeanor flee to elude with a motor vehicle. And a Christopher Hoyle from Sid Sims Road in Rutherford was served with 2 counts of failure to appear on a felony and 1 failure to appear on misdemeanor and received a $20,000 secured bond. And that's all we have for today.
All right, Officer King, thank you very much for that report, and you be safe out there today.
Thank you, Jim. Have a good one.
See ya.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust trust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
Well, yesterday UNC had a good day over Georgia Tech, 79-62, UNC over Georgia Tech. Tonight, let's see, we have somebody, who is it? One of the coaches shows on. Let me flip over right here to see who that is. Coach Hubert Davis, 7 o'clock tonight, will be on the radio with us. And here is Jessica. She's on the radio with us right now to give us a report from the Communications Center. Good morning, Jessica.
Good morning.
What's on that report from the weekend?
In the past 48 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 Communications has processed 652 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 115 EMS calls. Sheriff's Office responded to 270, Forest City 132, Lake Lure 11, Rutherford 76, Spindale 81. Fire calls, Bills Creek responded to a fire investigation. Bostic responded to an illegal burn and a motor vehicle accident. Cliffside responded to a smoke report and a motor vehicle accident. Ellenborough responded to a brush fire, a fire alarm, and a smoke report. Hudlow responded to a vehicle accident. Rutherford responded to a fire investigation. Sandy Mush responded to a chimney fire assisted by SDO, Cliffside, and Ellenborough. SDO responded to a vehicle accident. Shingle Hollow responded to a fire investigation. And Spindale responded to a fire investigation, vehicle accident, and a dumpster fire. And that's all we've got.
Busy weekend. Thanks so much.
Sounds like it.
Thanks so much for the report. I appreciate that. You have a great day.
You too.
Bye. That's Jessica reporting that from the Communications Center. Effective immediately, wearing face masks in the Rutherford County schools is now optional, according to an article in the Courier. The Board of Education had previously agreed that when the COVID-19 transmission rate improved from high to substantial for 7 consecutive days, the change would be made. Based on the national data maintained by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, COVID-19 transmission within Rutherford County has improved from high to substantial for 7 consecutive days, according to a statement posted on social media. Given that sustained improvement, Rutherford County Schools will transition from required to optional use of their face coverings within the school environment, effective immediately. Students, school employees, and visitors who choose to continue using a face covering are welcome to do so, but that use is no longer required in school buildings or on school campuses. However, that face coverings are still required for all occupants of yellow and white school buses, including passengers, drivers, and other occupants, pursuant to a federal order issued on January 29, 2021. At the November school board meeting, RCS Superintendent David Sutton said the system was seeing a decrease in the number of students and staff exposed to COVID, with low ratios of students in quarantine. Officials at that time described the COVID data as showing sustained and steady improvement for employers, employees, and students, which they expected to continue. So masks are now optional at the schools. Here's Ruby Taylor now reporting in from SDO. Good morning, Ruby.
Good morning.
What's on your report from the weekend?
Well, the fire department had 2 calls. They assisted Sandy Mush on a chimney fire, and they had a vehicle accident. And on my birthday calendar, I've got Sarah Fulton, Griffin Stamey, and Brittany Putman having birthdays, and hope they have a nice day. Signs are in the knees today and going to the legs tomorrow. Jim, that's all I got.
Thanks, Ruby. You have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Another season has come and gone, and you're still looking at that same sad-looking sofa or recliner. Well, now's the time to change the inside of your home to look as pretty as colors outside. And the perfect place to start is the Recliner Center. Right now at the Recliner Center, everything is 20% off. That's 20% off sofas, recliners, sofa recliners. If someone you love is having trouble standing, the Recliner Center has all lift chairs on sale for 10% off. All lift chairs, 10% off. Now, some of these chairs can take you from a standing position, then safely back down to a sitting position with no effort on your part whatsoever. Angela is cleaning out merchandise to make room for more. So now's your chance to redecorate your home and take advantage of the great savings at the Recliner Center. All lift chairs, 10% off. Everything else is 20% off. Angela is seeing folks by appointment only, so call 828-395-3562. Call her today. The Recliner Center. They're on Cooper's Gap Road in Rutherfordton.
Now up at Fairfield Mountains Fire District, over to Bills Creek community, Gary Wilson is reporting this morning. Gary, how was your weekend?
Weekend was good. Had some pretty weather, didn't we?
We sure did.
You beat it. Not bad this morning either, sitting on about 52 degrees out here this morning, so it's a warm start. And maybe a chance of some showers later this afternoon. I hope we get some, but it may not be nothing more than a sprinkle, but we'll take what we get right now.
Yeah, we sure can. Yeah, that's right. We'll take what we can get because we need it badly, don't we?
We do. We really do. It's getting dry out there. We had a pretty quiet weekend. Had one call for somebody burning in a burn barrel, and thought that was okay, but obviously it's not. There's no burning outside at all right now, so I need to be careful. Just hang on and wait. We'll get some rain in here eventually. And everything else has been pretty quiet. Pretty nice weekend. Everything looking good and working down toward Christmas. I don't know too much longer it'll be here.
You know, if the temperature stays up warm like this, Christmas Santa will have to do away with that red hot suit. He'll start wearing something else.
He's going to break out with something a little thinner than that thing.
Yeah.
You're going to get hot flying through Lake Lure, I'm afraid.
Thanks, Gary. I appreciate you being with us. You have a great Monday, and I'll see you tomorrow.
You have a good one.
Bye-bye. To win in sports, you must adjust your strategy as the game changes. The same is true of investments. Why not let Andrew Tisdale, your Edward Jones financial advisor, help you create a game plan for financial success? Call 828-287-9197 and get started today. That's Andrew Tisdale at Edward Jones Financial Advisor, 828-287-9197. Now we're checking over in Boston. Vern, is that you?
That's me. How are you this morning?
I'm feeling pretty good for a Monday morning. I hope you are.
I am. Well, we have 48 degrees up here in Boston. We might get a little bit of rain today. We need it. The fire department responded to one medical call and one motor vehicle accident. Tonight's their regular monthly meeting. Anyone interested in joining up, come out to the fire department. And also the fire department participated in the Ellenborough Parade. They had two trucks in it, one driven by Shane Upton and one by Michael Harton. And also the town council meeting is tonight at 6 o'clock. Come out and put your input in and check out what the town council and mayor's doing for our town in Bostic. Our mayor is Mitch Harrell. Our town council are Keith Dobbins, Shane Upton, Wesley Flynn, Mike Hollifield, and Billy Lattimore. They do a great job for our town. And Faith Baptist Church will be having a singing Sunday at 11 o'clock. The Eubanks will be singing, and Brian Melton's the pastor. Hope everyone has a wonderful day.
Thanks, you. Have a wonderful day as well, and I will see you back here tomorrow.
Thank you.
See you, Vern. Bye-bye. Vern Upton there in Boston reporting in 28 minutes now past 7, and our temperature reading is 50.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush. Brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
Let's check in now with Bob Hodge. He's over at the Hudlow Fire District this morning. Bob, good morning.
Well, good Monday morning.
It is another week rolled by. The weekend rolled by really quiet and warm, and we hope you guys didn't have any tragedy up there.
No, nothing too bad over the weekend. And with the fire department, we've answered a couple of medical calls and a vehicle accident call and a fire alarm call. And that's about it with the fire department. And let's see, Piedmont Pleasant Hill Community Club is having their visit with Santa Claus coming up this Saturday. And that's from 12 to 3 p.m. And that's for ages 8 and under. And, Jim, things are going along good up here. And so hope we have a good week. Look like we might get a little rain later on this week there.
I'm hoping for a little bit.
Yeah, it's been awful dry for the last 2 or 3 weeks there, so hadn't had anything. So it'll help with all these forest fires and things there. So, and all.
We'll hope we get a little bit of rain anyway.
Yeah, we might get a little bit. Don't look like it's going to be a washout or nothing.
No, but all right, Bob. You have a wonderful day up there.
Well, you too, and I'll be talking to you in the morning.
Thanks, Bob. I'll see you then.
All right. Bye-bye.
Well, you know somebody on your Christmas list that loves these oil lamps. They put oil in. They were really effective, particularly during holidays, but they're really nice to have if the power goes off, you have some light. They got some of those up at Washburn store, various sizes. They also have the oil that goes in them. So check on those, and they really make nice decorations, and they look good on your mantle, or they're great gifts to give to someone. Check with those. And if you have other ideas that you'd like to have them prepare a gift basket for you at Washburn store, think no more than just going up there and say, "I'd like this, 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 and this, and this," or we get some suggestions from those nice ladies up there. They always have good suggestions. Why don't you do that? Visit Washburn General Store. Be sure to check where the fresh candy is. They got plenty of Christmas candy available. So go by there and do your Christmas shopping in a relaxed state of mind at Washburn General Store between Bostic and Sunshine on the Bostic Sunshine Highway. Let's check in on Sue Price over at the Cherry Mountain Fire District. How you doing, Sue?
Good morning, Jim. I'm doing good. Hope you are.
Yes, indeed.
Well, good. Another nice-looking day over here. I hope we can get some rain, but maybe we can squeeze a little out. It'd be
maybe a few drops.
Yeah, it sure be welcome. Sound like all the fire departments, except ours, had calls for fire, different things, so that's not good. Anyway, we'll get some sooner or later, but hopefully it'll be coming. Well, let's see. I didn't have any calls from our fire department. I have no birthdays on my church calendar or my personal calendar. Fairview's got birthdays for Gracie Hollifield and Eli Yelton, and an anniversary for Charlie and Janice Weinhammer. And nothing on First Broads today, no birthdays or anniversaries. And in my announcements, the Christmas program, let's see, I got several. Got the Christmas program at First Broad Baptist Church on December the 12th at 6 p.m. The Christmas program at Golden Valley Church on December 17th at 7 p.m. And Douglas Creek Church will be having a Christmas Eve candle lighting service and Christmas carols. First Broad Baptist Church will have a Christmas Eve service at 10 p.m. And then the drive-through nativity at Fairview Baptist Church will be Saturday night and Sunday at 6 to 8 p.m., December 11th and 12th. And Golden Valley Church doesn't have any birthdays or anniversaries today. And I believe that's all I got, Jim. It's just quiet and calm, looking for a good day, and I hope you'll have one.
Thanks very much. You enjoy your day as well. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Sue Price reporting in this morning from Cherry Mountain Fire District at 7:33.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
7:34, top of the hour, a little about 5 after. We'll be checking the job market report to see where jobs are in this area and what they're paying and how easy it is for you to get one of them. If there's no drug charges there, of course, if you're drug-free. And a little after that, we'll give us a tribute to Senator Bob Dole, late Senator Bob Dole, who remember a little bit of his life and legacy right here on WCAB. Man to be admired greatly. And I'll be back just a moment with our next phone call, supposedly going up to Shingle Hollow, but don't see anybody answering up there, so may have to move on. We'll see what happens. Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Look for all the new design 2021 F-150 at Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
Tina White up in Shingle Hollow not available this morning to take our call, and we're moving right over there, all the way over to Union Mills. Brenda Kelly is there now on the phone. Good morning, Brenda.
Good morning. How are you on this magnificent Monday morning?
I'm happy as I can be.
I enjoyed that music this morning. I especially enjoyed that song that Michael Henderson sang.
Oh, look for me at Jesus' feet.
Yeah,
that's a great song. Yep.
He done a fantastic job on it.
Good singer.
Just done my heart good.
Good. That's what it's all about.
That's exactly right, and I enjoyed the Christmas music you throwed in there.
Well, good.
It's that time of the year, isn't it?
It is, and we'll be adding more Christmas music as we get into it. Don't want to overload folks, but we want to do enough to make it exciting, and move it closer in will be all Christmas.
Well, I've got, I don't know how many, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 or 6 of Elvis Presley's Christmas tapes, and I've been playing them for a long time now.
Well, nobody did a Christmas song quite like Elvis.
I'm telling you, he was good. But we hope everybody's having a good day. I've got 46 degrees on the front porch this morning. I don't have any birthdays or any anniversaries. And we had a accident down here at the beginning of the driveway. My brother-in-law fell off the roof of their house putting up Christmas lights Saturday.
No way.
They had to call a helicopter in and fly him to Spartanburg.
Oh, my goodness. Is he okay?
Well, he's okay now, but he come to her being killed. Yeah, he hit his head on some bricks, and it took part of his scalp off. They had to take him in surgery and sew that back on. And vertebrae 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 are fractured, and ribs 1 and 6 are cracked. So it done a number on him.
Your brother-in-law, you said?
Yeah, my sister Marion's husband.
Oh, my. So he fell off of a ladder? Or fell
No,
off the
he
roof
was
of the
on
house?
top of the roof. He didn't have no ladder. If he'd have been on the ladder, he might not have failed.
Oh, my goodness.
But there comes a time when you get too old to do stuff like that.
And we don't want to admit that.
That's exactly right. We want to think we can still do everything we did at 20, don't we?
Yep. I question a lot of things that I used to do. I question a lot of things. Can I do this now, or should I call on somebody else?
Well, that's it. And it's best to just call somebody else or not even do it.
and yet you don't want to say, I'm not capable of doing that anymore. We don't want to admit that fact.
Yeah.
But
I want to say hats off to everybody that come out and helped with the helicopter and all that, and all the EMS that came. And when my sister got her bearings together to call the EMS, they said, "Don't move him." Well, guess what? He done got up on his knees,
Really?
He didn't get no further than that.
Oh, boy. Well, I'm sure glad he survived that.
I'm telling you, it was a scary time. But in ways of announcements, we got the Piedmont Pleasant Hill Community Club Lunch with Santa Claus Saturday, December the 11th from 12 noon to 3 p.m. for children 8 years and younger. And I guess that's all I got going on that I know of. So Just short, sweet,
all right,
quiet.
that's enough excitement for one weekend, wasn't it?
Whew, I'm telling you, I guess I missed that helicopter by about 10 minutes because when I come in, little man met me at the back porch. Said, "Have you talked to Marion?" And I thought, my goodness, who's died now? And I said, no. So he was telling me all about it. He said, "Did you not see the helicopter?" I said, "Well, what now when I come in?" So he said, "Well, you just missed it." So
that was Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday about, I don't know, somewhere around between 2:30 and 3, I reckon.
But as far as you can tell, he's going to be all right. He just need to recuperate now.
Yeah. They said they thought a neck brace would be all right for, and not do no surgery on them vertebrae, the neck brace, because it's up from the hairline down, back of the hairline down.
Wow. He's a blessed man.
He's lucky he wasn't paralyzed, too.
Yeah, really.
That God was with him.
He's a blessed man.
Yeah. So if you got God on your side, you're all right.
Well, that's right.
Yeah. So we just have to pray for him that he's going to have a speedy recovery. He's still in the hospital. I don't know when he'll get to come home.
Well, it's not a good way to spend Christmas, is it?
No, but he'll get out. In time Christmas gets here, he'll have a couple of weeks to maybe get to feeling better. I know he's sore and probably his head hurts like crazy. I don't know, but we just pray for him and that he'll be all right. And I guess you better go check on Luther Sweet Thing Gilligan and see if everything's all right in Ellenborough.
All right, keep us posted, and we'll check in with you tomorrow.
Okay, catch you later.
Bye. 7:41 here on this Monday morning report. This Monday morning, the 6th of December, and December the 17th. Next week, we'll be drawing for the big money for the Chamber of Commerce. The raffle ticket to raise money for the chamber. And if you haven't gotten yours yet, please see me when I get off the air this morning at 9 o'clock. And I've got some here, and I'll be glad to take care of you. So just get yours. Don't let it step up on you because time is really slipping by fast. And we'll have that drawing on the air live here on WCAB on the 17th, about 10 minutes after 8. We'll also stream that on our website, and we'll stream it on Facebook also. So everybody will know who the winner is come the 17th of December. We hope it could be maybe you.
Cheryl, I've been talking to Tommy and David, the outside salesmen at Henson Building Materials in Forest City. They're going to help us navigate through our remodeling project.
Well, I know they have tons of experience, so we'll be in good hands.
Good hands is right. Even professional builders shop there because they trust the quality products and service.
And did you know they have a great relationship with our community, too? Oh, they're so nice.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street, Forest City.
Building starts here.
Ellenborough is our next stop. That's where we'll find Luther Gilligan this morning. Everything okay with you, Luther?
That'd be great with me.
Good. How was the parade?
Hey, had a good time. Good crowd.
Good.
We enjoyed it. But we'll wait on next year now. Got several things in between, though.
Yeah.
But it's quiet there this morning. Not a whole lot happening. Everybody's just getting their gas, their biscuit, and trying to get another week started. But see, fire department, they had one illegal burn Saturday, had one medical call Saturday, and they had one medical call yesterday, and they went over and stood by and sat in mush while they was out on structure fire. And other than that, they've been quiet. They're quiet this morning. Robert said he's just enjoying coffee.
Good.
So nothing else happening down here. You have a great day up there. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow, Luther. Have a good one now.
Take care now.
Bye-bye. Well, it's time for birthdays and anniversary. This is the 6th day of December the 6th. And if you could call us now and let us know your birthday, we'll be glad to give you a big shout-out and make it a special day for you. 287-3356 is the phone number to call. We've cleared the phone lines, so call now at 287-3356, and we'll have a happy birthday wish for you.
Hey folks, Farmer's Friend Feed Seed Supply is an amazing store. I can say that because they have what you need. From pet supplies to fire and ant killer to horse quality Timothy alfalfa hay, $14 per bale. Attention carp fishermen, they have C&J flavoring, only $8 per bottle. And they have oats for sale. Refill your propane tanks at the lowest price. Fully stocked with all your deer supplies and a great selection of farm implements. Need mulch? $12 per scoop. We could call it a superstore. Farmer's Friend Feed Seed Supply, 188 Whiteside Road in Rutherfordton.
Let me brag on Hutchins Pest Control a minute. Don't let the pest bug you when Hutchins Pest Control is as close as a phone call. Honest, dependable, professional, and on-time service may be the reason they keep getting voted best pest control. If you have a pest problem, call this family-run business at 287-5171. Licensed in North and South Carolina and fully insured and bonded. Get a free estimate when you call Hutchins Pest Control and be sure the job is done right. That's Hutchins Pest Control. Call them today at 287-5171 and they'll be right there. You know, nothing strikes fear in the hearts of people more than receiving an IRS audit letter in the mail. Audits take much time away from your business and family, requiring you to gather mounds of records, and can become overwhelming unless you have someone you can depend on to take care of that for you. That's why we can recommend IE Accounting and Tax Service. Chris and his team of professionals are in the business to help. Even if you depended on someone else to prepare your taxes, IE Accounting and Tax Service will be glad to assist you or your company. Don't hesitate to call. As a small business owner, you have more important things to do than keep your own books. Why not let IE Accounting and Tax Service take care of that for you, so you can get back to the job of running your business? Consider their payroll solutions for your business, cash flow management, litigation support, and forensic investigation. Why not give them a call and see what they can do for your business? Here's that phone number, 828-395-1777. They're at 211 West Main Street, Spindale. Again, that's 395-1777, and it's spelled ARYEE. Now, I know a lot of us will be busy over the next few days, running around here and yonder, shopping and doing various things for the holidays. Let's keep in mind that we don't have to do all the cooking at home. We can go to Granny B's and enjoy breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Now, they're closed on Mondays, but they'll be there tomorrow morning with breakfast, those delicious daylight donuts, and they have pizza, for any time. And there's these big, huge, nice pizzas. And, of course, they have those sub sandwiches during the lunch, so you can enjoy breakfast, lunch, or supper, courtesy of Granny B's. They do such a great job. So don't get caught up in the hustle. Treat yourself to a real special deal at Granny B's in Spindale, right beside the Shake Shop. Happy birthday. Happy birthday wishes going out to Billy Callahan this morning. Billy turns 40. Pastor Wayne Stafford is 47 today. Philip Cole and Jason Cole, they're brothers. They're 2 years apart on their birthdays, but they're both celebrating birthdays today, so happy birthday to the Cole brothers. Also, today's birthdays include Agnes Moorehead, an actress. She was born in 1900, born 1900, passed away in 1974. Dave Brubeck, a pianist, born in 1920, died in 2012. And events on this day happen to be the first edition of the Encyclopedia Britannica, published 1768. 1923, the first U.S. presidential address broadcast on radio by, guess who? Calvin Coolidge. 1964, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer first aired on TV and still growing strong every Christmas. I've seen that one so many times. I don't know if I'll ever want to see it again, but it is a good one for the kiddos to watch. 1973, Gerald Ford sworn in as first unelected vice president. This is St. Nicholas Day, National Pawnbroker Day, National Miners Day, National Micro Oven Day, and National Gazpacho Day. That's tomato-based soup served cold. Now you're up to date on this date in history right here on WCAB Rutherford.
In verses 1 to 3 of the 23rd Psalm, the psalmist refers to the Good Shepherd as He. Then a change takes place in verse 4. It is now much more personal. He is far more intimate in his relationship than he was previously. It is now, you are with me, rather than He is with me. He is not talking to someone else, but rather talking directly to God. But we also find that the psalmist has entered into a different set of circumstances. He is now going through a time of testing and difficulty that require the shepherd's presence even more. Philip Keller, in his book A Shepherd Looks at Psalm 23, says, "During my wife's illness and after her death, I could not get over the strength, the solace, and serene outlook imparted to me virtually hour after hour by the presence of God's gracious Spirit Himself. It was as if I was being repeatedly refreshed and restored despite the most desperate circumstances all around me. Unless one has actually gone through such an experience, it may seem difficult to believe. In fact, there are those who claim they could not face such a situation. But for the man or the woman who walks with God through these valleys, such real and actual refreshment is available." This is Bill Hostler with today's Key to Confident Living. Scripts for today's Key to Confident Living are now available in book form by calling toll-free 1-888-333-KEYS.
100.9 FM. Walking down memory lane.
From ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. People arriving in the U.S. from abroad, including American citizens, will now have to show proof of a negative coronavirus test within 24 hours of travel, regardless of vaccination status. The new COVID requirement coming as cases of the Omicron variant spread across the nation.
The Omicron variant spreads across the country with cases reported in at least 17 states.
We know we have, several dozen cases, and we're following them closely, and we are every day hearing about more and more probable cases, so that number is likely to rise.
Meanwhile, in Louisiana, thousands being tested after a COVID outbreak on a week-long international cruise. At least 17 confirmed cases on the Norwegian breakaway.
ABC's Stephanie Ramos. As at least 100,000 Russian troops amass on the border with Ukraine.
President Biden will meet by video call with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Tuesday. The White House says the president will underscore the U.S. concerns with Russia's military activities on the border with Ukraine and reaffirm U.S. support for the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ukraine. The Biden administration has warned Russia about significant economic sanctions if it takes further action. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
A possible U.S. boycott of the Beijing Olympics over human rights issues with China.
We know this is something that the president is considering. It's called a diplomatic boycott. It means that the U.S. would not be sending official government representatives to the Olympics, but that U.S. athletes would still be able to compete. The president is reportedly expected to make this announcement this week.
ABC's Mary Bruce. If it happens, China threatening to take, quote, firm countermeasures. The Oxford School District promising an independent investigation of how the school handled the alleged shooter, Ethan Crumbley. He was found with a drawing depicting a gruesome shooting and ordered to seek counseling, but neither the parents or the school sent him home. That was the day of the shooting. You're listening to ABC News.
Do you want to be a hero for the holidays? How about getting your loved one a new iPhone? That's right. Pure Talk has iPhone 12 starting at just $479 through the end of the year. And sure, they have 13s too. Switch to Pure Talk. Great nationwide 5G coverage. Yes, the same coverage as the big guys, but the average family saves over $800 a year. Now that's just smart. There's no need to overpay for Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile. Plus, with Pure Talk's 30-day risk-free guarantee, you've got nothing to lose. Unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data is just $30 a month. And like I said, the iPhone 12, just $479. From your cell phone, dial pound 250 and say Jill 50, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Plus, save on a new phone. That's pound 250, say Jill 50. Pure Talk is simply smarter wireless. Some restrictions apply. See site for details.
Flags are waving at half-staff in Washington after former Kansas Senator Bob Dole died at the age of 98 over the weekend.
A war hero and one of the most prominent Republican leaders of his time, Bob Dole's journey began in the small farm town of Russell, Kansas. First elected to the Kansas legislature and then to the House and the Senate, he was tapped as Gerald Ford's running mate in 1976 and ran for president in 1980, 1988, and again in 1996 when he won the Republican nomination.
I say that in politics, honorable compromise is no sin.
In the general election, he lost decisively to Bill Clinton.
ABC's Jonathan Karl. President Biden calling Dole the greatest of the greatest generation. Cruise lines may be taking a gamble with their ticket pricing. ABC's Jim Ryan says 2 companies are offering deep discounts.
Despite word of COVID cases aboard the Norwegian breakaway, major cruise companies are desperate to attract customers. The Wall Street Journal says that Carnival and Royal Caribbean are slashing ticket prices by up to 40%, perhaps into the first half of next year.
One of the scientists who worked on the AstraZeneca vaccine in the UK warns that the next pandemic could be worse than this one. Sarah Gilbert making the comments today at a televised lecture there and saying that the next virus could be more contagious or deadly, while urging researchers not to forget scientific advances to fight the disease. This is ABC News.
Whether you're vaccinated or not, it's important to know the symptoms of COVID and its variants. Fever is the leading sign, and only the Exergen temporal scanner thermometer has been proven accurate with more than 100 clinical studies. Non-contact thermometers have no clinical evidence behind them and cannot be relied on. Be vigilant and seek medical advice at the first sign of fever. Be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Dave Packer, ABC News.
Temperatures will be on the rise today as we have winds moving in out of the south and west. It's going to be a little bit breezy at times, and we are going to see highs warm up into the upper 60s and the mid 70s. Early fog will burn off, and we're likely to see a mix of sun and clouds for today. Tomorrow will be a cooler one. We do have a front that's going to move through later this evening, spark some showers by the afternoon on Tuesday. We'll top in the lower 50s. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
We're 51 degrees here on this Monday morning, 51 degrees and cloudy. It should be getting up to about 67 for a daytime high. South wind about 14 to 13 miles per hour, gusting to about 22 miles per hour. So that wind, again, is going to be a factor today here in the foothills. Well, let's see. It's 8:05, and Monday mornings we always love to talk with Anita and find out where some jobs are. Good morning. How are you doing today?
Good morning. I'm doing great. How about you?
Well, I'm doing great. You know, this time of year with Christmas coming, it'll be a great time to go to work, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I hear you. We've got administrative specialist out in Spindale. That does require a 2-year degree and a year experience. The pay they will discuss with the applicant. We have a center floater in Mill Springs. That is $13 to $15 an hour. That does require a high school diploma and a year's experience. We have a press attendant in Far City. That does require a high school diploma, and the pay is dependent on experience. We have a social worker, one out in Spindale. The starting pay is $45,668 a year. That does require a bachelor's degree and 4 years experience. We have a mold maintenance tool repair in Spindale. That does require a high school diploma and 8 years experience. The pay is dependent on experience. And then we also have a per diem weekend registered nurse in Rutherfordton. That, of course, you have to have the nursing certification. That pay is anywhere from $50,000 to $90,000 a year. We have a social worker 3 out in Spindale. That the pay is starting at $43,660 a year. That requires a bachelor's degree and 3 years experience. We have a industrial maintenance relay tech in Far City. That pay is anywhere from $33,700 to $76,500 a year. They would like you to have 4 years experience. They're not requiring education. Then we have a supply chain associate, which is part-time in Far City. That is $10 to $15 an hour. They're not requiring experience or education. A sales and service associate out in Columbus. The pay is dependent on experience, but they do require you to have a high school diploma in a year. A detention officer up in Rutherfordton. That is $13.48 to $16.89 an hour. That requires a high school diploma, of course. We have a part-time college readiness literacy navigator in Spindale. That requires a bachelor's degree. A power engineering technologist out in Spindale also. That requires a high school diploma and a year's experience. And next Tuesday here in our office from 10 to 1, we're having a hiring event. The Department of Public Safety will be here talking to people about different positions that they have. They have administrative, they have caseworkers, they have correctional officers, of course. They have a wide range of jobs that they would like to talk to people about. Some of those are here in the county, some of them are in Cleveland County as well. And then next Wednesday, if anyone's listening from Polk County, someone will be at the county library from 9 to 4 to talk to people about jobs as well. And so for any of those jobs, any of those hiring events, please give us a call at 828-286-3042. We're here on 223 on Charlotte Road in Rutherfordton. We are here at 8 o'clock. We are actually here till 5 o'clock too, but we lock the door at 4:30, but we'll let you in.
If they're interested enough in coming, right?
Yeah, we'll let you in. And give us a call too. I mean, some people are still sort of scared, I think. Many people are looking. There's still people looking for at-home stuff. You know, I know of 2 of those things that you could do remotely, and then of course, I've talked to a lot of people that is retired. They went ahead and retired, but so that was some of the things too there. And I don't blame somebody. Hey, I got about 9 or 10 more years. I might just hang it up myself.
Absolutely. I think it's a great move for companies to hire some of these retired folks.
So.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. You always make it sound so interesting to find jobs, so I appreciate you being with us on Mondays.
Yeah, you call back next week, and we will talk again.
Thanks so much, Anita. Have a good week.
You too, hon.
Bye-bye.
All right.
And those jobs are partial listings, and there's so many jobs still in the restaurant industry that needs help. Those are jobs that are still pending. A lot of folks cannot run full schedule because they don't have the help. So some of my favorite places are limited hours, so I wish folks would get those jobs so we can enjoy those meals anytime. Anyway, we got some stuff to talk about here on this morning report, wake-up call, so we'll get going right after we do this.
Your first and last place to do your Christmas shopping will be at the Burnt Chimney in downtown Forest City. They have beautiful Christmas ideas for everybody. Unique handcrafted ideas, reloved furniture, new popular boho furniture, handcrafted jewelry and ornaments, gift baskets, and so much more. Most items are made by local artists right here in Rutherford County. Shop local this year. Shop at the Burnt Chimney Gifts and Decor in downtown Forest City. Give them a call at 828-803-2565. Merry Christmas from the Burnt Chimney Gifts and Decor.
Story I used earlier during the 7 o'clock hour from the Daily Courier that effective immediately wearing face masks in the Rutherford County schools is now optional. The Board of Education had previously agreed that when the COVID-19 transmission rate improved from high to substantial for 7 consecutive days, the change would be made. It has, so they have. So now the optional day was welcomed by many. Masks are now optional in the public schools. Hot dogs for the hungry. A ministry of Ken Linder will be in the Ellenboro each Monday in December. Linder and his team will be on the grounds of Bethel Baptist Church from 4:30 to 5:30. Giving what Linder hopes to be food for the body and food for the spirit. Following a brief talk by Linder, anyone there will be served hot dogs, chips, and a drink, as well as several bags of groceries. Linder said this is free. There's no cost to those who come, and they don't have to show any identification or fill out any paperwork. A variety of canned goods, bread, milk, cereal, bologna, ham, liver mush, peanut butter, bananas, and more will be also among the free groceries. The food is purchased by Linder with donations he receives from churches and individuals for the ministry. And again, that is today between 4:30 and 5:30 at Bethel Baptist Church. A new law in North Carolina. North Carolina law went into effect this week that bans Carolina squat. How many of you know what Carolina squat is? Well, in September, Governor Roy Cooper officially signed House Bill 692 into law, prompting a sigh of relief for many residents. According to the sponsors of the bill, the Carolina squat, also known as Cali lean or Tennessee tilt, could pose a safety hazard to drivers. The Carolina squat is achieved when a truck is lowered or unmodified in the rear and raised at the front. This modification has the ability to block the driver's view of the road and drivers ahead of them. According to the bill, it's now illegal for the front fender of the car to be 4 inches higher than the back fender. In June, more than 70,000 residents across the state signed a petition demanding representatives to make this modification fully illegal. Both lawmakers and mechanics in the Carolinas said the squat is dangerous and can damage integral parts of the vehicle. Affordable auto repair owner Sean Thompson said an incomplete lift can add stress and damage to the motor. They shouldn't do it, he said. All of your oil is sloshed to the back now. The oil is supposed to stay near your motor and lubricate everything. Think about having an accident because of this. They could kill somebody. It's very unsafe. Beginning December 1st, vehicles with a modification will no longer be allowed on North Carolina roads. After 3 infractions of the new law, drivers will be subject to losing their license for at least a year. I'll be back with more with a tribute to Bob Dole in just a moment.
This is Dwayne Hunt with Insurance Service Associates, wanting to let you know that we have moved. Our new office is located at 245 East Main Street in Forest City. Come see us for auto, home, or your commercial insurance needs. Also, come see me, Dwayne Hunt, for your Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage, or prescription drug plans. See us at Insurance Service Associates, now located at 245 East Main Street in Forest City, or call 828-245-5301.
When the custom cake has to be perfect, it needs to come from Southern Belle Cakes by Nikki Lee. Weddings, birthdays, baby showers, holiday cakes, call on Southern Cakes by Nikki Lee. She does amazing work for special events like school packages for teachers, special events for corporations, treat tables for any event. Nikki also has pre-packaged Christmas treats like hot cocoa bombs, cupcakes, cookies, chocolate-covered pretzels, and so much more. These will make great stocking stuffers or a surprise gift for someone special or a coworker. Give Nikki a call today at 828-896-4780. That's 896-4780. Southern Belle Cakes by Nikki Lee, voted Best Cake Artist in Rutherford County.
16 minutes after 8 o'clock, sports update again in just a few moments. Bob Dole, Senator Bob Dole, was one of those senators and politicians that you could admire and appreciate, even if you were on the opposite side of it, because he knew how to fight reputably, but still shake hands with you and buy you lunch. It's that kind of guy. I had a privilege of meeting Bob Dole a few years ago. I had some time with him. I was impressed with how open and honest he was with someone who he had just met, me, and he was not as flippant. He did not seem to be in a hurry. He said, we talked a little bit. And I grew to appreciate not only his political expertise, but his years of service in the military. He was a hero. Married a North Carolina girl, Elizabeth, and they stayed married until he just passed. A Republican stalwart and presidential hopeful who espoused a brand of plain-spoken conservatism as one of Washington's most recognizable political figures throughout the latter half of the 20th century. He died yesterday. Senator Robert Joseph Dole died early in the morning in his sleep. At his death at age 98, he had served the United States of America faithfully for 79 years, according to a statement from his family. He had announced in February that he was getting a little worse. And even President Joe Biden recognized him. He said, Bob was an American statesman like few in our history, a war hero and among the greatest of the greatest generation. And to me, he was also a friend whom I could look to for trusted guidance or a humorous line at just the right moment to settle frayed nerves. Joe Biden said, I will miss my friend, but I am grateful for the times we shared and for the friendship Jill and I and our family have built with Liddy and the entire Dole family. Biden on Sunday evening ordered that flags at the White House and other public buildings and facilities be flown at half-staff in honor of Bob Dole. Dole, who was seriously wounded during World War II, had suffered a series of health ailments in previous years. In 1991, he received surgery for prostate cancer, received abdominal aortic aneurysm surgery in 2001, was hospitalized in 2005 after a fall in his home, and was treated for a leg infection in 2009. Dole is survived by his wife, former Elizabeth Dole of North Carolina, and daughter Robin Dole. Dole was born on July 22, 1923, in a small town of Russell, Kansas, and grew up during the years of the Great Depression. At the age of 19, while a student athlete at the University of Kansas studying to become a doctor, Dole enlisted in the Army in 1942 following America's entry into World War II, and was called up to active duty the following year. He wrote in his memoir, One Soldier's Story, sent to fight in Italy in 1945, Dole was seriously wounded while trying to carry a fellow soldier to safety. He spent 39 grueling months in and out of hospitals, recuperating from his near-fatal injuries, which left his right arm permanently disabled and his left arm minimally functional. Dole received the Purple Heart twice and 2 Bronze Stars with an oak leaf cluster for his service in World War II. His injuries changed the trajectory of his life, leading him to pursue a law degree and a career in politics. He served a term in the Kansas House of Representatives, and later for 8 years as Russell County prosecutor. Dole was elected to the House to represent Kansas and Washington in 1960, serving 4 terms before he was elected to the Senate in 1968. Beyond his career in Washington, Dole advocated for the nation's veterans throughout his career, including serving as co-chair of a 2007 presidential commission that investigated Walter Reed Medical Center. After leaving public office, he served as the national chairman of the World War II Memorial Campaign, helping to raise millions to construct the first memorial dedication to all World War II veterans. In his 90s, as one of the longest living and most prominent members of the greatest generation, he spent his Saturdays greeting his fellow veterans as they visited the memorial in Washington after it opened to the public in 2004. In January 2018, Dole became the 8th U.S. Senator to receive the Congressional Gold Medal, the highest civilian honor bestowed by Congress. Dole was the only former Republican nominee to support Donald Trump's candidacy in the 2016 election, and Trump recognized his service to the country at the medal ceremony. And hearing Dole's story, they will truly learn what it means to be a great American. Bob, that is a legacy that you have left our nation, and it will outlive us all. Dole was one of the key Republicans to say that Biden had won in July 2021 interview with USA Today. Dole said while he was still a Trumper, he was ready to move on. Bob Dole, a gentleman, a scholar, a hero, and I have a picture of the two of us I keep on my wall because I admired him greatly. 22 minutes after 8 o'clock, sports coming up here in just a few. You know, there is a lot of misleading information about Medicaid eligibility. The Arledge Law Firm would like for you to know the truth. For instance, if you need a nursing home, Medicaid will take your home. That's not true. Another one is, if you transfer assets, you have to wait 60 months to qualify. Again, not true. And this big one, if you're already in a nursing home, it's too late to protect your assets. Not true, not true, not true. Call attorneys Gerald N. Willis, Kent Baldwin, or Martin Gerard at the Arledge Law Firm and get free consultation and learn the truth. It's more likely than you think that you may qualify for nursing home care and not lose everything you own. It's worth a call to Arledge Law Firm at 287-3338, located on East Court Street in Rutherfordton. Well, it's the talk of the town, and folks talk about it and come in here not only from town, but in other counties as well, and even other states. It's the popular Cozy Home Christmas Warehouse Sale. New items arriving daily, brand new collection of matching bath rugs and towel sets in many assorted colors. Tons of new Christmas throw pillows, Christmas kitchen towels, bean bags for the kids and big kids at heart. Bed pillows in all sizes, beautiful designer dishes and decor by the popular Biltmore collection. Christmas hours every Friday, 10 to 4, Saturday 9 to 2. Cozy Home Warehouse Sale is on Duke Street in Forest City next to Henson Building Material. They're only open on Fridays and Saturdays, so remember to mark it down. Go to this Cozy Home Warehouse Sale. 22 past the hour, Sheriff's report was given this morning to us by Officer King. We recorded it for broadcast at this time.
In the past 48 hours, Sheriff's Department responded to 270 calls for service. There were 14 arrests processed in the jail, and the jail currently has 179 people incarcerated. On our incident reports, Angela Royal from Mackey Freeman Road in Rutherfordton reported a communicating threats. Jeff Walker from Terry Road in Ellenboro reported larceny of motor vehicle parts as larceny of a catalytic converter. Michael Duncan from Paris Drive in Forest City reported a misdemeanor larceny. Amanda Ledbetter from Highway 64 in Rutherfordton reported assault by strangulation. Charles James from Ellenboro Henrietta Road in Ellenboro reported breaking and entering a motor vehicle and larceny after breaking and entering. The Hickory Nut Antiques on Main Street in Chimney Rock reported a felony larceny. That's all I have on the incident reports. On our arrest reports, an Abelia Reyes Marino from Oakland Road in Spindale was served with a warrant for communicating threats, received an unsecured bond. Ernest Sims from Gilmer Edwards Road in Rutherfordton was arrested and charged with possession of methamphetamine, simple possession of a Schedule 6 controlled substance, and resist, obstruct, or delay a public officer. Received a $10,000 secured bond. Devin Young from Highway 64 in Rutherfordton was arrested and charged with assault on a female. Received a domestic violence hold. Eric Gray from Oak Street in Forest City was served with 1 count of failure to appear on felony and 2 child support warrants. No bond listed on that. Ronald Davis from Tisdale Street in Ellenboro was arrested and charged with misdemeanor flee to elude with a motor vehicle, and a Christopher Hoyle from Sid Sims Road in Rutherford was served with 2 counts of failure to appear on a felony and 1 failure to appear on misdemeanor, and received a $20,000 secured bond. And that's all we have for today.
Just a reminder, I failed to mention this earlier, it slipped my mind, but the filing opens today at noon at the Board of Elections. So if you're planning on running for office, today is the opening day for filing, starting at 11 o'clock or at noon today at the Board of Elections. So get over there and make that decision. Sports is next.
The offense in Charlotte sputtered. Another Brady, meanwhile, had offensive success on Sunday. Tom Brady threw for 368 yards and 4 touchdowns in the Bucs' 30-17 win over Atlanta. The Bucs improving to 9-3 and move to the brink of clinching the NFC South title. They have a 4-game lead with 5 games left. In other NFL action on Sunday, Tyler Heineke threw 2 touchdowns and set up new kicker Brian Johnson's game-winning 48-yard field goal with 37 seconds left to lead Washington to their 4th straight victory, a 17-15 final over the Raiders. WFT head coach Ron Rivera says his players are taking their opportunities when they come around.
The one thing that they seem to feel and believe is if you just give us a chance, we'll see what happens. And that's the biggest thing about what we saw today.
Arizona beat the struggling Bears. The Rams snapped their 3-game losing streak with a 37-7 victory over Jacksonville. Seattle made a late goal line stand to beat the 49ers, and the Eagles soared past the Jets, while the Lions are winless no more following a 29-27 win over the Vikings. The AFC race tightens considerably on Sunday. The Chiefs gained ground by bucking the Broncos 22-9, but the Steelers closed ground by edging the Ravens 20-19.
You can go against teams sometimes that are better than you or equal to you in terms of skill. What's going to separate you is your heart. And I think tonight we had guys that showed a lot of heart.
The Chargers beat the Bengals 41-22, and the Dolphins won their 5th straight and topping the Giants 20-9. Tonight, the Buffalo Bills and New England Patriots go heads up in a battle for first place in the AFC East. This is NCN Sports.
If the power goes out for your business, are you prepared with a backup? Without electricity, security systems go down, refrigerated items spoil, and customers are turned away. In other words, your business loses money. Control your power. Control your business with a Generac automatic standby generator. Alternative Power is North Carolina's Generac generator experts. In fact, all Alternative Power does is provide backup power. Financing options are available. See more at alternativepower.com. See more at alternativepower.com.
North Carolina retailers are the backbone of the local economy, and now you hold the power to help them rebound faster by spending your dollars in North Carolina. Our retailers' first priority is the health and safety of their employees and customers. So please be patient with retail employees, especially if they ask you to wear a mask. In most cases, they are required by law. The NC Retail Merchants Association proudly represents these dedicated retailers and encourages you to shop smart and shop NC. Learn more at ncrma.org.
The Charlotte Hornets were without LaMelo Ball and 3 others after they were placed in the NBA's health and safety protocols, but the team had that next man up mentality. Miles Bridges scored 32 points and led the Hornets past the Hawks 130-127. Head coach James Borrego after the game.
It wasn't a mystery that we could go win this game. We felt like we could go win this game. If everybody did their job, there was full confidence going into the game, number one. The mentality was right.
College hoops, Carolina in a Sunday matinee. R.J. Davis scored 13 of his game-high 22 points in the second half. The Tar Heels moved past Georgia Tech 79-62 in the ACC opener for both teams. The Tar Heels football team is headed back to Charlotte. They will play the Gamecocks in the Duke Mayo Bowl December 30th at Bank of America Stadium. NC State has drawn UCLA in the Holiday Bowl. That will take place December 28th at Petco Park in San Diego. Josh Zakin.
Temperatures will be on the rise today as we have winds moving in out of the south and west. It's going to be a little bit breezy at times, and we are going to see highs warm up into the upper 60s and the mid 70s. Early fog will burn off, and we're likely to see a mix of sun and clouds for today. Tomorrow will be a cooler one. We do have a front that's going to move through later this evening, spark some showers by the afternoon on Tuesday. We'll top in the lower 50s. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
It's going to be a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Another great getting up morning. Right now we have 53 degrees, 67 degrees. Our expected high today with winds with a gusting up to about 22 miles per hour. It's 8:30. This is WCAB in Rutherfordton, serving the foothills of the Carolinas. It's time now for the Word of Faith Fellowship radio program. And with the program this morning is Mark Morris and Bill Creason.
Good morning and welcome again to Word of Faith Fellowship radio program. This is Mark. I'm here with my great friend Bill, and we are so glad to be with you today to share with you God's Word. God has been changing our lives, and we want to share with you what God is doing. And today, Bill has a very, very powerful message. I believe it's going to change your life, and it's on hearing the voice of God. And you're going to hear from Bill about in his own life where God spoke to him and he listened to the voice of God and his life was transformed. And we're going to see in the scriptures that God is speaking to us every single day. God is actually speaking to you. As a matter of fact, he's wanting to speak to you right now, and he's wanting to direct you and lead you and answer all your questions and show you what to do every single moment of your day today. And what a great way to live. We don't have to go through today and just figure it all out, because God wants to speak to you and I and tell us what to do today. So we're going to dive right in about the voice of God and how important it is to hear his voice. So Bill, go ahead.
Thank you, Mark. And yes, it is very, very important to be able to hear the voice of God and obey, because God's voice is who he is.
That's right.
It's designed to protect us. It's designed to lead us. It's designed to guide us. It's designed to keep us out of trouble. It's designed to chastise us, correct us. Whatever we need, God's voice is available for us every day.
Yes.
And so in the Bible here in Exodus chapter 15, verse 26, God is saying here, if you will diligently indicates that there's got to be effort involved here. If you will diligently listen and pay attention to the voice of the Lord your God and do what is right in his sight and listen to his commandments and keep foremost in your thoughts and actively obey all his precepts and statutes, then I will not put on you any of the diseases which I have put upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord who heals you. His voice will keep you from judgment. His voice is going to keep you from sin. His voice is going to keep you out of trouble. It's very, very important that we learn to hear and understand and know God's voice so we can develop have a relationship with us. He speaks to us. He wants to help us. He loves us. In Exodus chapter 19, verse 5 and 6, it says, now therefore, if you will in fact obey my voice and keep my covenant, then you shall be my own special possession. Special possession. God said if you will listen to his voice, heed what he said, you will be his own special possession. I want that for my life.
Yes.
Don't you?
Yes.
And treasure from among all peoples of the world, for all the earth is mine, and you shall be to me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation set apart for my purpose. There it is right there.
Yes.
God has called us to be set apart, not for our purposes, not for what we want to do day after day after day after day,
right,
but it's for God's own special purpose. That's what he's called us.
Yes.
Now, in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 1 and 2, it says, now it shall be, if you diligently listen to and obey the voice of the Lord your God, being careful to do all his commandments, which I am commanding you today, the Lord your God will set you high above all the nations of the earth. That tells me we can live a totally victorious life over the devil if we will seek God with our whole heart and obey what he's telling us to do.
Yes.
Nothing can stop us.
Right.
All these blessings will come upon you and overtake you if you pay attention to the voice of the Lord your God. Blessings. God has nothing but blessings in store for us. So if we seek, inquire, listen to what he says, and obey what he tells us to do, we are going to partake of the blessings of God.
Yes. You know, Bill, and as we're going through these scriptures, going through Exodus, you've read Deuteronomy, I'm seeing the same language from God, the same requirement: diligently listen and pay attention. And that word diligently is something that we really should ask God to work in our hearts, because, you know, we go through our day, Bill, and there's so many things that we do through the day. We're really faced with decisions all throughout the day. I know you're your job working. You handle dispatching trucks and overseeing truckloads, and you're constantly communicating with truck drivers, and you're orchestrating logistics, and you're making decisions all throughout your day of how to get loads here and there, and I'm doing the same thing with my job, and so we have all these things that we're faced every day, and the whole day God is actually wanting to speak to us and tell us, Bill, this is how you do this,
Yes.
load, or and Mark, this is how you handle your case in the practice of law. And so, but we have to diligently listen, because if we're going to go through our day and just plow through it and just do what we think we should do, we've done it before, and this is how the concept of we know what to do, so do it. You totally cut off God.
Yes, you do.
And so I'm hearing in every verse that God was saying, and of course this is the Old Testament. This is God's people, and I know we're going to go through these, and we're going to see that hasn't changed through the New Testament. It's even more alive. But diligently listen is something that, Bill, we've got to do through the day. Purpose in our heart. God, we've got to listen to your voice. You have to fight through all of the old patterns of just going plowing through your day.
Yes, you do. Now, can anyone hear the voice of God? Yes, you can. And the Bible tells us that. Mm-hmm. If you look at Psalms 40, verse 6, it says, sacrifice and meal offering you do not desire, nor do you delight in them. You have opened my ears and given me the capacity to hear and obey your word. God is saying here that every man has the capacity to hear and obey. Everybody can hear, but you have a choice as to whether or not you want to obey. And there have been some situations in my life where God had spoken to me and I obeyed, and it saved me, and it led me on the right track. Mm-hmm. It kept me on course in my life.
Right.
And sometimes God has had to speak to me very strongly, but it kept me and led me on the right course. Yes. I made it through.
Right.
All right. Now, anybody can hear the voice of God, but God wants us to have a relationship with him. Mm-hmm. Okay? I was thinking about the testimony that stands before me every day about my dog. When we adopted this dog and took him in, at that particular point in time, I wasn't looking for a dog. I didn't have any idea we weren't going to have a dog. But this dog showed up in the neighborhood, and my son got attached to this dog. So I came out one day, and my son had a leash and a collar on this dog, and he was walking the dog all around the yard. He got attached to this dog. So I said, okay. So we had a family meeting, and we all decided we would take care of this dog. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I took the dog to the vet. So when the vet examined the dog was full of all kinds of different worms. Mm. The dog had heartworms. Right. And the treatment for heartworms was very expensive back then. And it was over $500. Mm-hmm. And back then, $500 to me would have been like $500,000. Mm. We were having some struggles financially. The market in the construction industry was way down. I was working construction back at that time. Right. I didn't know what we were going to do with this situation. The devil presented a situation, and I wasn't sure what we were going to do, but God had an answer. He had a way out. He always has a way out when you hear his voice and choose to obey.
Right.
So we had a way out. So anyway, I guess about a year went on, and this is, I was walking the dog one day, and I heard inside of me what seemed to be an audible voice, like a man speaking, like I would have a conversation with you. Right. And the Spirit of God said to me, you've got to get this dog taken care of. Well, I didn't know what that meant totally. So I received that word, and I began seeking God. So we were in one of our seminars. It was a November seminar, and the next day would have been, it was a Wednesday night, and the next day would have been the Thanksgiving day where we had fellowship with our families. Mm-hmm. Okay? And so the dog was laying down in the chair. It was in the living room. And I started praying, and I started crying out to God for this dog. And I said, God, please heal this dog. Please heal this dog. And I was weeping, and I was crying, and I was travailing, and the Spirit of God was moving on me. And then it lifted, and I had peace in my heart. So the very next day, we had some good friends of ours come over, and I had not talked to this person about the condition of my dog one time. She says to me, Bill, we got to get your dog taken care of. I want you to take this dog to the vet, and I'm going to pay for it. Now, this was over a $500 veterinarian bill.
Yes.
God said,
yes.
Do it. So if God says to do something, you better do it.
Yes.
And he walked me through it. And it wasn't an easy thing really to walk through. It was hard on my soul watching this dog go through this.
Right.
Because they do say when they undergo some of these treatments that they incur symptoms. And he ran all the symptoms. He had a fever. He lost weight. He lost his appetite. First couple of days seemed great. And then all of a sudden it hit him pretty hard.
Right.
And he was lethargic. And I was really having to stand because the devil come at you in situations like this, and I was having to stand. No, God said, take this dog to the vet. So time went on. He got into about the 3rd week of his treatment, and usually it takes 6 weeks to come out of that. Mm-hmm. He got into the 3rd week of his treatment, and he wasn't eating, and I was very concerned about him. And I went out to the kitchen, and I asked God what to do. And I sat there and said, Jesus, what do I do? What do I do? And he said, it was about 2 o'clock in the morning. Now, Walmart was open longer back then. Mm-hmm. He said, go to Walmart, and I want you to go get a can of dog food. I said, okay. So I went to Walmart. I got a can of dog food. When I came back home, I got the can of dog food. I opened it up, got a spoon, and the dog came out into the kitchen, and I started taking that spoon and feeding that dog out of that spoon. And the power of that thing broke. And then he started getting better ever since then. His appetite came back. He started eating. He started getting stronger. And by the end of it, it's been 11 years. He's as healthy as you can be.
Right.
God took care of that animal.
Right.
And he taught me about himself
in
that situation.
Yes. Hearing the voice of God.
Hearing the voice of God.
And God cares about every little detail. And he cares about our animals. He cares about all aspects of our life. And I didn't know you were going to share that about your dog, Bill, but you reminded me about my dog, Lucy, because I had a similar experience about hearing the voice of God. We had one dog that died actually, and so we were left with one dog, and my thinking was we were done having 2 dogs because dogs take a lot of time, and I'm a pretty busy guy, and and then all of a sudden my wife ends up having somebody who basically wanted to give away a dog that was 6 years old, a little Morkie, cute white dog. And so one day my wife calls me and is holding this little white thing, and it's at our house. And so, Bill, right then, what I didn't realize was that God wanted us to have another dog in spite of me. In spite of my thinking of time and, I don't have time for another dog. But at first I really just rejected the idea of another dog. My wife was, here's this dog, and, Bill, I actually had to really just ask God to forgive me, because when I settled down and I actually asked God, is this our dog? Are we supposed to have this? I heard God tell me that this was our dog. And my thinking was not to have 2 dogs anymore. And, God's voice came to me and said, this is your dog. And Bill, I will tell you that her name's Lucy. She's basically about a 6-pound Morkie, a white, cutest dog I've ever seen. And Bill, I will tell you that I've never been really attached to dogs. And this is like the first dog in my life that this thing won't leave me. It goes everywhere I go. It sits up my side. And like if I sit down, it thing curls up next to me, and it's like God's telling me every single day that dog gets right next to me and looks up at me that, see, Mark, you've got to hear my voice. And see, God knows what's better. He knows what we need more than we know. And God knew that Mark Morris needed that Morkie. I told all, I have never been attached to dogs in my life, and this is the first dog I actually like really close to. But God's voice came to me, Bill, like it did you, and God said, this is your dog. And God came to you about that this is your dog and then how you're going to take care of it. But the voice of God in every single aspect of our life will keep us in his path and keep us in his blessings.
Yeah, now I want to go back a few years because there was actually, God has spoken to me this strongly where it comes like an audible voice on the inside of me. Now, God speaks in many different ways, but in these particular situations, it came as an audible voice because God needed to get my attention. Mm-hmm. I wasn't even thinking along certain lines.
Right.
But when it's like it boomed on the inside of me, and there was no mistake who was talking to me. No mistake whatsoever. When I was in the Navy, on board the USS Wabash, this was back during the Iranian hostage crisis. Ayatollah Khomeini had taken American hostages. And we happened to be overseas on a Pacific cruise at that point in time. And I think it was end of November. We would have been home by the end of December. And the captain got on the loudspeaker and said, we are going to go to the Indian Ocean. So we went to the Indian Ocean. So I was on the Indian Ocean for 73 straight days without being on land. And God really started to deal with my heart back then. I was running from the call of God. I was in major sin. I was not in good shape. And I knew what I was doing was wrong. I knew I was running from the call of God. But God had his way. And I was standing before those boiler gauges one night, and it was shortly after midnight. It was rather quiet down in the engineering spaces. I worked in the boiler room, and it was quiet. And now you got to understand, at that point in time in history, Russia was backing Iran. So it wasn't just Iran we were dealing with, it was Russia that we were dealing with. And they had ships in the area. You would see our aircraft carrier launch jets, and they would flank the Russian bombers, and you would see all this going on.
Right.
They had Russian destroyers that were out in the middle of the ocean. They got so close to our ship, you could throw a rock and hit them. Yeah. All this began to work on me, and I began to think about a lot of things. So I was down in that boiler room that night, and I remember the Spirit of God said to me, Bill, if you go to war and you die, where will you end up? Yeah. And I thought long and hard about that. The Spirit of God spoke to me. He had to get my attention, and he did. And then I obeyed, and I started going to Bible studies, and I started moving toward God. But the one thing I want to stress here is the divine providence of God. It doesn't matter what kind of a pit you're in. It doesn't matter what kind of circumstances you're facing. It doesn't matter what the devil is lying to you, what kind of torment is coming at you. It doesn't matter where you're at in life. God knows who you are, where you are. The hairs of your head are numbered, and he wants to reach out and speak to you and help you to attain victory in your life.
Right.
He wants a relationship with you.
Yes.
But you've got to press in and seek the voice of God for your life. He will direct you.
That's good.
He has never failed me. Not one time in my life has God ever failed me. Every single time, even when I've got to a hard place in my life and I turned my heart to God, the answer always came. It may not have always been immediately, maybe in a few days, a few weeks, but the answer always came.
Right.
I like hearing the voice of God. I love hearing the voice of God. That's what I live for. I live to hear his voice. I live to feel his presence. And when I can't hear his voice, I'm concerned. Then I'm checking out, Bill, what's going on? Where have you cut off God today?
Right.
You're not hearing his voice. You don't feel his presence. And every time I seek and inquire of God, he showed me where I got off course.
Yes.
He corrects that, sets me back on my feet, gets me walking the straight and narrow again. I feel his presence and hear his voice.
Right.
That's a loving God we serve.
Yes.
He wants us to make it in our lives.
Very good. That's right. You started off with the Exodus 15 about listen and pay attention to the voice of the Lord and listen to his commandments. And that's what you're talking about is we go through our day, Bill, and we really cannot expect to hear God's voice if we're just doing what we want to do. If you're going through your day and you have basically totally cut off God and you think you know what to do, and you have a course and you just I'm going to do this today and I'm not going to even think about asking God, then we're separated from God when we decide to set our own course each day. And Bill, what you're saying is You want to hear the voice of God through the day and listen to his presence, and you're aware if you're cut off from God, what's going on. And that really should be all our hearts is God, if I can't feel your presence and I'm not hearing your voice, somewhere I'm separated from you. God, show me where I've cut you off. And then what we do is we get our heart right, and then we can hear his voice.
Always.
That's right.
Never fails. And my job, you've mentioned my job and the occupation that I do at night. I do this at night on second shift from about 3:30 to midnight. Mm-hmm. So basically the day shift goes home, so everything the day shift is set on course.
Right.
It's my job to be a watchman on the wall and make sure it all happens smoothly. So I cannot do my job without hearing God's voice. I mean, it can be very stressful at times.
Right.
But God always speaks. I can't tell you the number of times something would come up that some kind of responsibility I would need to take care of. Mm-hmm. And then a phone call would come in, and then a rash of phone calls would come in, and then I would totally forget about it. And then all of a sudden the Spirit of God said, don't forget this.
Right.
And bring it to my remembrance. And I would do it and take care of it, and it would save a situation from happening.
Right. Now you are, Bill, what do you do, just so people can see how it works, hearing the voice of God? Are you in logistics with truckloads being picked up? Or
Yes. In other words, at night I have to kind of manage the fleet. I've got to keep the ship afloat, so to speak.
So meaning where trucks are going to end up in
so
certain places?
in other words, we have reefer loads. These reefers are running at specific temperatures with certain products on them. Mm-hmm. I have to make sure that those reefers are maintained at the proper temperature and that they're running correctly. Nothing's breaking down. I have to make sure that appointment times are going to be met. The drivers make their pickup times and their delivery times. And you have to manage all this. And then not to mention, there's phone calls that come in with personal issues.
Right.
Apart from logistics that sometimes you have to get involved in.
Right.
So it's a lot of responsibility.
Yes.
And I can't do it without God's help.
Right.
I depend on God quite a bit.
Yes.
Totally, really.
That's good.
So, okay, let's see. So really, I believe, as I stated before, to know God's voice is to know him. Mm-hmm. Jesus said something about that. He said that my sheep know my voice. Mm-hmm. He said, in John 10:1, it says, he who enters by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. He's the protector and the provider. The doorkeeper opens the gate for this man, and the sheep hear his voice. They not only hear his voice, but they pay attention to it. And knowing that they listen, he calls his own sheep by name and leads them out to pasture. There you go. It doesn't matter what kind of a circumstance you're in. God has a voice that wants to speak to you and lead you out of whatever situation you're in.
That's good.
I mean, what more is there to life?
Yes. To his pasture, Bill.
That's right.
His place of peace and safety in the midst of you dealing with all these truckloads and all these trucks getting where they need to get to. God says if you listen to his voice, he'll lead you into this pasture of his where you're in the peace of God in the midst of handling all of the stuff that you have to do every single day.
Yes, he will. And I do have peace for the most part. Sometimes, if I get stressed sometimes and cut off God, then I don't have peace. But God convicts me every time I do that. He said, Bill, you need to settle down, give it the peace, listen to my voice. I'm going to show you what to do in this situation.
Right.
And he does it every time, without fail. I love serving God.
Yes.
So he proceeds to say they know his voice and they recognize his call, and they will never follow a stranger. People that are really sold out to Jesus and have a relationship with him, they know his voice. When God speaks, they know that. They can recognize this is Jesus.
Right.
If I was in a room full of people and all this bustling was going on and all this talking, and all of a sudden my wife walked into the room and said, Bill, I would know who's calling me. Why?
Right.
Well, why is that? I know her voice because I have a relationship with her.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
Jesus' sheep know his voice. And the voice of a stranger they will not follow.
It's good.
Okay. Now, there are consequences to not obeying the voice of God. I had a situation in my own life. This was a third time that God spoke to me very strongly. I was working construction work, and I was working on something in a skylight up over the top of a bathtub. And I had propped a ladder up there, and I was standing on the ladder, and the Spirit of God spoke to me and said very strongly, just like he did when he spoke to me about my dog, when he spoke to me when I was in the belly of that ship, he spoke to me and he said, you don't have the right ladder for this job. I mean, it came very strongly. And I reasoned it away. I stepped back for a minute. I did not press in. I was under the pressure of having to get something done. I did not press in to see what else God had to say about this. And I just stabilized the ladder, and I proceeded to climb back up on the ladder. Now remember, God said, you do not have the right ladder for this job. The next thing I know, I feel the ladder shift. All of a sudden, I come down, my leg goes through the rung of the ladder, all my body weight landed on my left heel. I fractured my heel, cracked it like an egg, and I had 4 or 5 fractures across my ankle. And the pain was excruciatingly intense. And I'm laying on that floor, and I knew I did something very serious to my body. And all I could do was repent.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. That stands before me every day. That's before me every day.
Right.
You cannot disobey God's voice when he's telling you to do something. You've got to obey. He's only got good things for you. I didn't have to go through all that I went through. I mean, it took me 2 years to recover from that. And still, even standing on a ladder sometimes, it's hard, you know.
Right.
But it always comes back to my remembrance. I did not obey the voice of God that day. It's kind of like David. Kings go out to battle.
Right.
He decided not to go out to battle, and it cost him a lot.
Right. That's when he sinned with Bathsheba. Everybody else was out to battle. He stayed behind, and he fell into sin.
Right. Okay? I did not obey God, and it cost me.
Yes.
But God's been working with me, and there are things I can do that God still helps me do.
Right.
And I can get beyond all that.
Right.
So there has been restoration in my life.
Yes.
So, how are we to live our lives? John 5:30. I can do nothing on my own initiative or authority. Just as I hear, I judge, and my judgment is just, fair, righteous, unbiased, because I do not seek my own will, but only the will of him who sent me. God has a plan. God has a purpose. We are put here on this earth to fulfill his purpose. In fulfilling his purpose, he puts a call on our life. We have a job to do. You have a job to do. I have a job to do. We all, as a collective body of believers, have a job to do to fulfill God's plan and purpose in life.
Yes.
That's why we're here.
Yes. And Bill, you know, summarizing everything that we've shared today, Bill, John 5:30, one of the things that Jesus said of himself is he said that I can do nothing of my own self, and I don't seek my own will. I just seek the will of the Father. And, you know, as we go through our day, if we really want to hear the voice of God, we have to say that. We have to have a heart that says, I don't want to do my own will. I only want to do the will of the Father. And if you want to hear the voice of God, and as Bill said, hearing the voice of God is the most exciting thing. Hearing the voice of God is the thing that you and I should live for, the thing that we should endeavor to and diligently strive for every single day, to hear his voice. And if you want to hear the voice of God, and you want to live a life that is in the presence of God and exciting and full of the wonderful plan that God has for you, then you and I have to do what Jesus did when he was here in the form of a man. And he said, I don't seek my own will. I seek the will of the Father. And that's how we're going to hear the voice of God. Every single day, God, not my will. I don't want my will today. I don't want to do what I think I need to do, but I want to do your will. and then God can speak and we can hear his voice. So we're out of time, but thank you again for listening. And we are on this radio program Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 8:30 to 9. All of our radio programs are videoed. They're on our website, www.wordoffaithfellowship.org. Thank you so much.
Get your message to the thousands. Call the WCAB Sales Department today at 287-3356.
I'm Dave Packer. In Michigan, an ongoing investigation into the moments leading up to the deadly shooting last week at Oxford High School following the arrests of a teen suspect and his parents.